Greetings petrol heads, welcome back to Automation, the car company Tycoon game. Today I'm gonna open up an unfinished thing. I realized that the last mid-sized saloon that we did for Athena was in 1980. So in 1995 it's time to make a new one. I'm almost done with the front end, but I have no idea yet what to do in the rear end. So basically, on the front end, nothing groundbreakingly new, other than the fact that these headlights are now slightly angled to give a little bit more of a sleek and sporty look. You'll notice that there's no badge yet, and that is because there are now ornaments in the Steam workshop. There's these four. They're in the badge section. If you click this one right here, then these four will appear. So there is this. This one almost looks like a sort of... almost looks like there's a key being stuck in somewhere. Like it almost looks like this is a... yeah. And this one, when you're moving it, it looks like the Jaguar statue, but then when you let it go... oh, actually, yeah, it looks like a Jaguar thingy. Which I don't necessarily want to use for this, for our cars, because we're competing with Jaguar. And it would be kind of lame to steal their ornament. This one, however, this V kind of thing, or it could also be seen as the tip of a spear or an arrow or something. And I like that idea because Athena is the goddess of strategy at war, and she was always she's oftentimes displayed with a spear or a lance in her one hand and a shield in the other one. So this would be kind of fitting for the theme of these cars. Don't want this thing to point downwards. There we go. So yeah, let's use this from now on. And on the rear end, yeah, you can see it's blank apart from the lip that I fit. Yeah, there is also a lip on the front, because while I haven't decided on which out of two options, which engine I want to use for this car. And no matter what I end up choosing, it'll be a competitor for the BMW M3. So it's gonna make the power. Now taillights, I am honestly not so sure. However, I discovered that not only do we have these central light bars that I think I've pointed out before. Also, what you get if you download these from the workshop is actually these right here in the taillight section. Yeah, this one's without border, this one's with a chrome border, with body panel colored border, and this one to kind of go underneath, or just strap up over the top of an existing one. And that's, I think I'm gonna make use of these a lot more than I previously did. And what kind of rear end do I want this thing to have though? like this, and then taillights, one of these up top. Oh, this is as narrow as it's gonna get. In that case, I'm gonna do it this way and then rotate it. This, by the way, is also gonna be how you would do the current generation Jaguar XJ's taillights with the help of these fixtures. And then, yeah, I think you can easily imagine the indicators somewhere inside these red ones. I'm not gonna put them there for now because I just like the way this looks already. It looks really quite unique for the mid 90s. By no means like completely out of the norm, because car manufacturers were starting to use you know, what am I getting at? We're starting to use arrangements that had both red and also white areas. Like, for example, the BMW 3 Series at that point, it had a combination of both red and white light fixtures, creating its taillight arrangement. No, I'm not gonna use this at all. Am I gonna use? Yeah, I think I'm gonna use a set of these. Braking lights in the middle they're always nice. And then we're gonna have, this is the SM5. So S, wait, what? Excuse me. There we go. Play around with those a little bit until they appear properly. SM5. This needs to be a little bit bigger. As we've learned, the numbers are smaller by default than the letters. Kind of sucks that you can't see these writings while you're moving them. And then what I'm also gonna do is put some chrome into this right here. You know what? I think I might also make one more version of the SM5, like one that competes with the M3, and then one that's, you know, one tier below that. And we still need a bumper and exhaust, so as far as bumpers go, we could just choose one of these. Or a sort of diffuser, and then choose like these. No, they're not very visible at all on top of this thing. We could take this. Back then, you know, rear bumpers were not necessarily huge yet, like they are in some cars today. Or the rear diffusers, anyway. And I think I'm gonna clone this one and drag it out all the way until here. Yeah, okay, because that I think looks a little bit better. And now we can go to the choice of engines. There's this 3.5 liter turbocharged version of the Hecata inline 6. 360 horsepower, lots of mid-range torque. Yeah, with the 5-speed automatic that is now available from 1995 onwards. This will do 5.7 seconds 0 to 100. Make quite a lot of wheel spin while doing so. We got 17-inch rims, 245 rear tires. That's as wide as I was willing to go, because anything wider would be kind of unrealistic for the mid-90s. On a sports sedan anyway. And brakes are still vented discs. Fully clad under tray. Headband interior as always. And hydro pneumatic springs. And you can see that this does not have the most drivability possible, because it is a possible contender to the BMW M3, or it should compete with it anyway. So it can't be all about the drivability and comfort. It's gonna have some performance too. The other engine option would be a retuned version of the Kronos V8. Yeah, a naturally aspirated 5 liter with 360 horsepower. Obviously less torque and worse economy, and we gotta consider that a little bit. But drivability is gonna be 51.3 instead of 36.3. And it only weighs 2 kilograms more than the Turbo 96, so it's not that bad. Acceleration suffers, quarter mile time suffers. Yeah, it's not quite as quick, and it uses a decent amount more fuel. That's the downsides. However, drivability is so good now. And do we really care about the economy? I mean, we should, because the M3 uses quite a bit less than this as well. I mean, it's not an eco car, of course, the M3, and neither is this. But even so, the thing is, this is already down to 14.5 to 1. Tell you what though, we can run this on premium fuel. And then lower this, increase the compression, and then go down with this a little bit more until we reach 360 horsepower again. That should make it slightly more economical. Yeah, slightly. Still making a good amount of wheel spin. I was also considering using a 6-speed manual on this thing. Reason for that is that we would get better acceleration time, better economy, and a lot better sportiness. Now this was at 27 when we had the automatic, remember? So I mean, at this point, it's obviously the sportiness values are judged based on today's standards. How sporty by today's standards is an E36 M3? I don't know. Like what number I would give the E36 M3, but probably higher than 27. 38.5. I think that's actually higher than what I'd give the 36 M3, because while it was an amazing, well, it still is an amazing car, and it was an amazing sports car for the 90s, by today's standards it would just get outclassed by cars in this segment. And therefore, let's not go over the top with its sportiness value. I mean, 38.5, I think that's really good, but we can also, yeah, we could now change this suspension so that we make for more drivability. How do we do this? More front sway bar, I guess. Less rear spring. Okay, until a point. And then less front camera, I guess. (49) drivability, 47.1 comfort. Looking better and better. (13.8 quarter mile). I don't think the M3 would be that much quicker, honestly. Obviously this car weighs more than the M3, but that is because we have a handmade interior, which the M3 certainly does not. It would have like, yeah, I guess premium CD here and then premium here, which would still make this thing heavier than the M3, but again, this is an Athena. We have our standards, and this car certainly needs to meet them if we're going to be selling it at a price like this. Obviously this needs to go up, but still 41,000 in today's money, that's actually really cheap for a sports sedan like this. So we can increase the quality on certain parts, mostly I think on the engine, so that I think the fuel system is a really good one to start with, so that we can use higher compression, giving us better economy, and then we will also increase reliability with this. So that seems like a good start here. We can also increase the quality on the engine head, and then we're gonna go down a little bit again. Tell you what, why don't we increase this a little bit more? And then decrease the cam profile by a few more points. 1 point gets us to 361. And then decrease this by 1 more point. A couple more points actually. And we are at 360 horsepower again. And economy should be better now. Yep, it went down quite a considerable amount. Sportiness didn't really fall. Acceleration is still the same. Then again, you might be saying, oh, the M3 has a well, when it first came out it had a 3 liter and then 6 later on it had a 3.2 liter. And you're comparing that with a 5 liter V8 in this car? Yeah, well, look at what AMG did. Remember when the E46 M3 was still around? And Mercedes introduced the first generation C63 AMG. It has a 6.2 liter V8. Actually, by that time the E46 wasn't in production anymore, but it was the 4 liter V8 in the M3. So, but yeah, when the E46 was still in production, Audi introduced the S4 with a 4.2 liter V8. So yeah, you can do stuff like this, and well, or in today's age, like the M3 has a 3 liter turbo inline 6 these days, and the C63 AMG has a 4 liter twin turbo V8. Yeah, so that's you can really do stuff like this, I think, and it's in Athena's tradition anyway to build V8 performance sedans. Well, is it really? But I mean, this is really gonna be the first iteration of an SM generation where we really take performance seriously and try to bring it on to the M3. And therefore this is going to be the SM550, and now we're going to clone this thing and create a second trim. Good. So now we're gonna go to this section, take... No, let's leave the lips on there, I guess, but maybe replace these with single exhausts. And then we're gonna put a 3.5 liter, I think, naturally aspirated inline 6 into this one. I don't think there's a place for this 3.5 liter turbo inline 6. So let's make this naturally aspirated. Go up on compression. 242. Let's go up to 250, I guess. Oh, yeah, we have 257 now. Exhaust is way too big. 258. 260. We just gained power by decreasing the ignition timing, by the way. 45 seems reasonable, and now we go one more point here, and then that's that. It uses less fuel than the 550, of course, but it should. It really should. 3.5. What's this room in 250, right? Yeah. Okay, this one will do 6.3 seconds, which is still quick. It's gonna have a lot of overdrive, which is gonna help economy. We need less cooling airflow, of course, on this one. We're gonna decrease the wing angles on this as well. Gonna help economy a little bit more. Let's go up to this, so we remain at pretty much 50 drivability. We can do this. Actually, this did help drivability. Okay, good. Do we need 245s on this one? We need sports tires on this one. Probably not. Oh, maybe we do actually, because they make for better drivability as well as better sportiness. Didn't think they would. So yeah, overall I think that should sum it up for the 5th generation of the SM, bringing the game on to the M3 and also offering a powerful, you know, non top of the line version. Yeah, good. Hope you guys enjoyed this episode of Automation. Leave a like or a comment if you did. Thank you for watching. I will see you next time.